Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're digging into a literary phenomenon that seems to be really capturing readers, especially in the Spanish-speaking world.
That's right. We're looking at a super enthusiastic review from the Spanish book blog, La Cueva de mis Libros. That's the cave of my books.
And the focus is the thriller novel La Asistenta, The Housemaid by Freda McFadden.
Yeah, the blogger sounds completely swept away by it. It's clear they had a really intense reading experience they wanted to share.
And it's the first book in a trilogy, apparently. The sequels are titled El Secreto de la Asistenta and La Asistenta te vigila.
Correct. The Housemaid's Secret and The Housemaid is Watching You. Intriguing titles.
What's also interesting is the author, Freda McFadden. She's actually a practicing medical doctor specializing in brain injuries.
Yeah, it's pretty fascinating, isn't it? You wonder how that background might influence her writing, especially in psychological thrillers.
Right. And the review mentions this is her first book translated into Spanish, but given the reception, more are expected.
It seems likely. It's clearly hitting a nerve.
So, our mission for this deep dive is to unpack why this thriller is getting so much buzz, at least according to this particular reviewer. Okay, let's get into it.
Sounds good.
What do you think was the initial hook for the reviewer? What grabbed them right away?
Well, they're pretty explicit about it. They mention having just finished El Cuarto Mono, The Fourth Monkey, another thriller that obviously made an impact.
Okay.
And they were looking for something just as gripping, but maybe little less graphic or violent, like an escape.
And La Asistenta fit the bill?
Perfectly, it seems.
Mm-hmm.
The reviewer uses the phrase, swallowed the book, just devoured it.
Yeah.
They felt the recommendation they got was spot on.
That's always a great sign when a book just pulls you in like that immediately.
Definitely sets a high bar from the start.
And the review points to McFadden's structure and style as key factors in this compulsive reading experience.
Yeah, absolutely. Things like short chapters, straightforward language, and just constant suspense. It aligns with a lot of current trends in thrillers, keeping things moving fast.
Makes sense. Easy to just say one more chapter when they're short.
Exactly. And the review notes the book as 3 parts, but they also say it didn't feel like distinct parts. It just flowed like one continuous read.
Almost breathless, maybe.
That's the impression, yeah. It speaks volumes about the pacing she achieves.
Okay, now this is where I think it gets really juicy. The plot twists. The reviewer calls them los tiros argumentales de toda la vida, kind of like the same old plot twists. But
But they praise how McFadden uses them. It's not dismissive. It seems they mean she uses a familiar tool, but with real skill.
okay, so it's about the execution.
Precisely. The review highlights that these twists, especially the ones hitting around the middle of the novel, aren't just minor surprises. They apparently completely flip your understanding of the characters and the plot itself.
Wow, so they really shake things up.
They do. The reviewer felt genuinely surprised, which, let's be honest, is a huge part of the fun in reading a thriller. You want those moments.
Oh, definitely. I love the analogy the reviewer uses, like sudden gusts of wind slamming doors shut on your understanding, leaving you disoriented for a moment.
That's a great image, isn't it? It captures that feeling perfectly. You think you've got it figured out, and then bam,
Yeah.
something shifts everything.
And that disorientation is key, you think?
I do.
Yeah.
Because it forces you, as the reader, to reevaluate everything you thought you knew. It makes the characters and their motivations suddenly seem completely different. That's effective psychological suspense.
Let's talk about the basic setup then. The premise seems pretty straightforward. Millie needs a job, gets hired as a live-in housemaid for the wealthy Winchester family.
Right. Sounds simple, almost domestic,
Hmm.
but as you'd expect in this genre, things aren't what they seem.
So the unease starts creeping in early.
Yeah, the review mentions the strange behavior of the woman of the house, Nina, her lies, her erratic actions. It creates this immediate sense of unease.
And then there's a child involved.
Yes, Nina's 9-year-old daughter, Cecilia, which of course raises the stakes. It adds this layer of vulnerability and maybe even protectiveness from the reader's perspective.
I see. And the house itself. The reviewer mentions something about a dressing room, a luxury car, and a door that only opens from the outside.
Yeah, see? Little details like that, they instantly create suspicion and tension. That door detail is particularly chilling, isn't it?
It really is. It suggests confinement control. Very unsettling.
And the review really praises McFadden for building this high-voltage suspense with relatively few explicit details. It's more about immersing you in the atmosphere of the house, the character's fear.
So it's more suggestive than graphic.
That seems to be the case. The reviewer mentions subtle breaches of social norms, these small elements of terror that just build and build. It's not necessarily about overt violence, but a creeping dread.
That can often be more effective, I think. That psychological tension.
Agreed? And the review emphasizes that this tension doesn't let up. It carries right through to the final page, which explains why the reviewer apparently flew through it in just 3 days.
3 days, that's fast. Clearly addictive.
Very. Speaks volumes about how engaging the story must be.
So, wrapping up the reviewer's take, what's the bottom line? For someone looking for their next thriller read.
Well, the overall verdict is overwhelmingly positive. They call it a good thriller. Excellent for escapism, exactly what they were looking for.
And crucially,
Crucially, it leaves you wanting more. The reviewer was eager to get to the next book in the trilogy, so it definitely delivers on that core promise: entertainment and pure engagement.
it sounds like a solid recommendation then, especially if you want something that grabs you and doesn't let go.
Based on this review, absolutely.
Yeah.
A safe bet for getting lost in a story.
And the reviewer even added a funny warning in the comments section of their blog post, right?
Huh, yes. Someone commented they were eager to read it, and the blogger replied, basically, careful. The day you start, you'll abandon all your responsibilities. It's that absorbing.
Love that. A recommendation that comes with a warning label.
Proceed with caution. May cause you to ignore chores and deadlines.
Well, there you have it. Our deep dive into the review of La Asistenta. Hopefully that gives you a good sense of why this book is making waves, and maybe it's piqued your interest.
So maybe a final thought to leave our listeners with. What do you think makes a thriller truly captivating? Is it the really complex plot with all its twists and turns?
Or is it more about that suspenseful atmosphere, that feeling of dread that keeps you on edge?
Or maybe it's connecting with or being completely baffled by complex characters with dark secrets. Perhaps checking out some of those other books the reviewer mentioned, like The Fourth Monkey or others they might discuss, could offer more clues about what really makes the genre tick for different readers.
Something to ponder. Until our next deep dive.